Hey guys, just making a video today to tell you what it's really like to be a school teacher in Queensland, Australia. So I did my master's degree to become a primary school teacher. I'm currently on leave, but that's because I want to avoid putting my child in daycare. Basically, to become a primary school teacher in Australia, you either need the bachelor degree, or if you don't have the bachelor degree, you could do a graduate entry, which would be the master degree. They don't let you do the grad dip anymore for primary teaching. So you're probably wondering, okay, so what did you study before that? To be honest, I'm a little bit lazy to go through all my qualifications, but I'm currently doing my 6th qualification right now. Yes, you heard right, my 6th qualification, and I'm not stopping there. I love studying. I love accumulating qualifications. Basically started in the biomedical sciences and ended up at teaching, but I'm now studying again in a totally different field. So I have worked in various industries, but when it comes to teaching, I've worked as a relief teacher, a contract teacher, and a specialist teacher. The specialist teacher was as a science specialist, and I had over 400 students from prep to grade 3. I feel sorry for specialist teachers who have to cover more grades because it's insane. But in that that was because I had the science background. I've seen a lot of really silly comments about thinking, teachers get all these holidays, blah, 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 it's so easy, whatever, like silly comments. But really, the reality is that what a teacher has to get done on a daily basis, a weekly basis, on a term basis, and on a yearly basis is insane. The time's just not there. And that's why teachers have to work outside of school hours. If you think that teaching is a job from, let's say, 8:30 to 3 o'clock when the bell goes, you're wrong. And the master's degree, even though it had prac components, did not show that reality. So it's greatly deceiving, because once you have your own classroom, then you realize just how much responsibility and how little time you have to get a lot of work done in, which ends up being either taken home or you stay longer. You either come to work early. I've heard of teachers coming in at like 7 a.m, leaving at like 5 p.m, things like that. Or teachers who, will work through their whole holiday. So when you say, oh, they get holidays, think twice about that, because not every teacher's gonna enjoy their whole holiday. I have worked on holidays. I've sent emails to parents at around probably 10 o'clock at night, and had maybe 1 hour to myself before I have to go to bed and start work again the next day. There are a lot of very silly comments by people who have no clue. Just shows their lack of understanding. But yes, there are the positives. Yes, you may enjoy some days off on the school holidays. Or, if you've worked your butt off through the term, you might enjoy the whole school holiday off, but you deserve it. Basically, it's really nice seeing kids grow. Is it a job that I'm passionate about? Like, I think it's my dream job? No. I'm going to be brutally honest there. I guess the other benefit is, there are some really nice parents out there, although you will get your whingy parents that you will have to deal with. And that'll be another problem to solve in the day, along with all the other decisions you have to make in the day, sometimes in a split second. So my husband's also a primary school teacher who also came from a different educational background as well before becoming a teacher. He may not necessarily agree with everything that I'm saying, but he will probably agree with a number of points I bring up. This is very subjective. Every job is going to have some level of stress, unless you're like a unicorn who's chilled about timelines and everything, or things that go wrong. I'm just going to briefly outline the issues, which are probably the reason why a lot of teachers are leaving, So behavior management. Oh my goodness. I've been name called. I've had tables knocked over. I've had to evacuate my classroom. Behavior management, disrupts the little time you already have to get a hell of a lot done. And it's not pleasant. And then you got to, put it in the incident in one school or whatever. You have to deal with it. You can't just go, done. Okay? So behavior management. I usually am on very good terms with my parents because I feel like I do a good job. But yes, you will get annoying parents and you have to deal with it. You might have students who you will be required to, in your day somewhere, get some data and some evidence because someone, maybe guidance officer or someone has requested documentation that they need to pass on to a health professional to help with getting a diagnosis for a student. So you need to find the time to find the evidence for that. You will have students with different needs in your class. You might have Jimmy working at grade 2 level while the rest of the class is working in grade 5. Oh, but wait, you might have multiple students with different needs. When I was a science specialist, and as if it's not hard enough dealing with over 400 students, I had a student who was blind. How am I teaching a prep student the weather when they're blind? Fortunately for me, this student was very bright, but you have to then modify your teaching to suit that student. But remember, you have to modify for other students too. They might have an individual learning plan. So you might have someone with ASD in your classroom. You might have someone with oppositional defiance disorder. How are you going to deal with that? What are the strategies? And how are you going to change what you're teaching to fit that student at the same time as the rest of the class is doing something else? So you've got your differentiation, that's what it's called, catering to the different learning needs. At the same time, you have a legal requirement to cover the whole Australian curriculum. That's what I was told. I'm legally required to cover the whole Australian curriculum. You don't have to test every content descriptor, but you have to teach it. But wait, you don't have that much time because you will have interruptions during your day, either by a student or by a meeting you have to go to, or the students will have to go to another lesson like music or something. Oh, by the way, just because they're going to music or science, most of the time you are teaching a lot of the subjects, including science. That science specialist role I had, that's in some schools, that's like unicorn land, and it takes the pressure off the classroom teacher, but it's quite stressful for the specialist teacher because you have 1 hour a week to get the content done, but wait, week 10 and probably week 9 as well, you're testing. But if it's report card time, you have to get that done. Let's go back another week or 2. But wait, Jimmy was away this week because he was sick. So he's only had maybe 3 lessons or 4 lessons because there's always been a problem on the day that it's science. And they've got to be able to, learn that content within this many lessons because this term it's reporting and things need to be gotten in on time. To be able to do the report cards. Then there's the feedback. You have to give feedback to students, and sometimes you've got more than 30 kids in your class. You can't just recycle lessons necessarily because, hey, next year you might not be in grade 5 anymore. You're doing prep, whole different ball game. A lot of time to create resources that are specific to your students in your classroom. But wait, maybe the curriculum changed this year. They might be on version 9 or something. So wait, let's just check that content is relevant and is up to date because, knowledge is progressive. Like, we can't be teaching things from like 20 years ago. You can't keep doing the same lessons. But wait, you were doing your reading lessons like this. Oh, how sweet. But there's the new flavour of the month. We're going to be doing the, Sheena Cameron or whatever method. So now you've got to learn that and adapt your lessons to that. But wait, there's so much data you need to collect. So your admin will be asking you for, the PM readers or whatever, the data that needs to be inputted into the system, or they might be doing NCR tests and you need to make sure they've done their pre and post tests on time and the data is in for the admin, because they'll be waiting for it, don't you worry. So there's a lot of data collection, a lot of admin work. Everything has to be recorded. Speaking of admin, just because you think that you've done a perfect job or you're super organized, admin will always have something else that they will require from you, guaranteed. There are a lot of stressed teachers, like I've even covered for stress leave. I had another colleague who went on stress leave, another colleague who was a year level coordinator and got yelled at by admin in front of others. I myself have had to deal with not very nice people in the profession all the time. I've had an incident where a teacher had to come and apologize to me the next morning because I think she got scared that I was going to go and report her, which I ended up doing anyway. But yeah, she apologized for going off at me in front of my students. I've had another teacher go off at me, and admin could pretty much guess who it was, and when I explained what happened, they said, that's a breach of code of conduct, what she's done, and we can pick her up on that. And I said, just leave it. But yeah, I've even been traumatized from doing relief teaching because kids can be nasty. They slammed things on my desk. They started harassing me when I had my break time. It can be, not a pleasant environment. If you think that you're going to go into a classroom, everyone's behaving well, everyone's going to learn the same lesson, you don't have much preparation, there's not much data collection, you'll just, magically unicorn up some wonderful lesson, don't need to give feedback, don't have to stay after work. If you think that that's the kind of job that it is, then don't go into teaching, because you will have work either to take home or you will be staying later or coming in a lot earlier and potentially staying later after school, because there's always something to get done. I could talk forever on this subject, but I'm just going to pretty much leave it at that. To summarize, you've got admin to deal with, people who may not be nice in the teaching environment. You've got your parents, you've got student behaviour, you've got time issues, you've got demands placed on you, you've got changes placed on you, and you have to be able to adapt. You've got the differentiation, and you've got to be able to have the resources ready and create good lessons and provide feedback and do your reporting and do your marking and your parent-teacher interviews and everything that comes with being a teacher. And hey, you don't get paid to go on camp. And if you have to go on camp, you're not getting paid to sleep there the night. You're just going there because you have to. Basically, that's the life of a school teacher. So, yeah, think twice if you want to be a school teacher. Do it because you really love it. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you press a thumbs up or a like and subscribe to my channel.